There's a lot of people out there who think that this woke, queer, LGBTQ plus movement is an assault on our time-honored institutions that used to frown on stuff like that and pretend it didn't exist. But I hate to break it to you that there was a time when our own military during the 1940s put on drag shows for kids and the president, and you'll never guess what right-wing icon facilitated all of that. Take a look.
World War I and in World War II, we put on musical reviews to raise money for the US Army. One of them exists on film because they turned it into a movie, and guess what it featured?
Now I must do something for you.
Posters of the stage or canteen. Ladies of the chorus.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say, but it's not for children, right? These are for adults.
Gosh, just like he looks in the newsreels.
Hey fellas, the president.
Performing for children and the president in full drag. Guess who's your leading man in 1943's This Is the Army full of drag? Ronald Reagan.
Amazing. And this is all public domain. This is stuff that they used to proudly do. And everybody looked at it and was like, oh, this is fun. Let's raise money. And that was the end of it all, because there was a time when you could just there was a lot of horrible stuff that happened back in the day. But just as evidence that it's an artificial gripe that these D-bags have, Ronald Reagan hosting a drag show with military soldiers for children and the president, Ronald Reagan.
That is amazing. I love that great work by that TikTok researcher there. I also learned from that, not only that, I'd heard about these drag shows, I'd never known like how big and colorful and boisterous they were. They were so big. We've really lost that theatricality as a culture. But I also learned that I always thought that it was just like 1940s era newsmen that talked like that, but the kid too was like, he looks just like he does in the reels. Like they all, like at birth, they come out talking like that. I enjoyed that.
John, the answer to that is, before the Marlon Brandos of the world, that everybody just thought that to do a film, you just had to act like you were in a play on stage, and that was it. And then Brando was like, I'm so tired, I'll just be natural. And it was little things, as opposed to, sir, what a beautiful day.
Yeah.
But it's so nuts. Like I was watching, so I did a whole video on that for Rebel HQ a couple weeks back. Go look at my playlist on Rebel HQ, youtube.com/Rebel HQ, and you can watch it. There's a whole lot of other backstory to it, a lot of other examples, and just a really pleasant montage at the top about how ridiculous the right wing has gotten, saying that our military is now so effeminate because in addition to learning how to shoot bullets, they also have to be like, what's your name? Okay, I'll call you by that. Period. Like that's it. And they still have boot camps where they're like, you're nothing, soldier, you're dirt. Don't worry, guys. The soldiers are still proudly called dirt as they still in boot camp are tearing down who they are as human beings so they can build them up from scratch and tell them to shoot the people you'll never meet but need to die because we like oil. Don't worry, all of that is still in place, you weirdos. And I love pointing out that like, we need more stuff like that so we can point out like Ronald Reagan was the one who hosted it, because of course he was, because every argument is a projection.
Yeah, Ronald Reagan did, and of course Trump did in that thing with Giuliani, Giuliani at least. Yeah, again, total hypocrisy, and at the end of the day, they don't care. It's this weird example of like, it's kind of like the sort of, and I say this only because I'm gonna guess that 99.9% of those soldiers were white men. Like it's the cultural appropriation of like, there's all this stuff that we don't like you because you do this stuff, but we wanna do that stuff because it looks fun. That's what it is. You guys are bad and low and base because of this, but like we don't have any hobbies and we really want something to swing to,
Right. That's a hobby. There's a whole section of that movie with black soldiers.
Doing drag?
Yeah.
Hey, how progressive.
So it is, and they also do have like full on like if you go to a drag show and someone's dressed as Judy Garland, they actually have that. It is straight up drag show and people are excited about it. All the people who were against it, there's a crusty character who's against it and then he suddenly is like, but I really like it, and he hands it up.
Because it's fun.
It's just fun.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.